What would you do if the person you trusted most in the world was living a life you never knew existed? I stood in the rain-slicked alley behind our Chicago brownstone, the cold seeping into my bones, watching the silhouette of my wife Jessica in the arms of another man. The window to our perfect life was right there, the warm glow of the lamp she loved illuminating their embrace. She didn't know I was there. She didn't know I had been watching them for 3 nights straight, my heart turning from a living organ into a cold, heavy stone in my chest. Every laugh that drifted through the glass was a shard of ice. This wasn't just a mistake. This was a performance, and I was the only one in the audience who didn't know the script. The real question wasn't what I was seeing, but what I was going to do about it. If you genuinely enjoy our stories, please subscribe to the channel. Tell us where you're from and what time it is right now. It's always fascinating to know how far our story flows. It started subtly. A shift in the air, a password changed on the laptop we used to share. Jessica, my wife of 8 years, became a ghost in our home. She was an art gallery curator, a world of sophisticated parties and late-night events I'd always admired from a distance. Her work became her excuse for everything. Late nights became all-nighters. An installation running behind schedule, she'd text. The blue light of my phone at 2 a.m. feeling like a spotlight on my own foolishness. I'd find receipts from restaurants I'd never heard of, places on the other side of town. When I'd ask, her voice was smooth, practiced. A client dinner, honey. You know how it is. She was cold. A marble statue of the woman I married. She'd look at me, but her eyes were vacant, already somewhere else. With him, Julian. I learned his name from a credit card statement she'd carelessly left on the counter. A dinner for 2 at Alinea, a place we'd dreamed of going for our 10th anniversary. The charge was over $1,000. The humiliation was a physical thing, a bitter taste in my mouth that never went away. They felt untouchable, wrapped in their bubble of expensive dinners and secret glances. One night, I found his number in her phone under a fake name, Julia's Catering. The texts were sickeningly sweet, full of private jokes that excluded me from my own life. That was the night I broke. I sat on the floor of our walk-in closet, surrounded by her clothes that smelled of a perfume I didn't recognize. And I cried until there was nothing left inside me but a cold, quiet rage. The breakdown was my baptism. When the tears dried, something new and hard had formed in their place. The loyal husband was dead. A strategist was born. My first move was quiet. I installed a keylogger on her laptop and discrete listening devices in our home and her car. It felt like a violation, but she had violated our entire life. The evidence started pouring in. Audio files of their phone calls filled with plans for their future, mocking my naivety. He has no idea. I heard her laugh one afternoon. He's so wrapped up in his little blueprints. He doesn't see the real world. The words didn't even hurt anymore. They were just data. I hired a private investigator, a grizzled ex-cop, who documented their meetings at the Langham Hotel on Wabash Avenue. He gave me a folder filled with glossy 8x10s of them, kissing in the lobby, holding hands, looking like the couple I thought we were. I opened a new bank account and began systematically moving my assets. I contacted a divorce attorney, one of the sharks from a top firm on LaSalle Street, and laid out the evidence. He looked at the photos, listened to a single audio clip, and a slow smile spread across his face. Mr. Evans, he said, we are going to dismantle her. The final piece of the trap was social. Jessica was curating the biggest show of her career, a gala sponsored by Julian's real estate firm. It was her masterpiece, the culmination of her ambition. And it was going to be her ruin. The night of the gala was electric. The gallery was filled with Chicago's elite, the air buzzing with champagne and quiet compliments. Jessica was radiant in a silver dress, Julian by her side, the proud sponsor. They looked like a king and queen in their stolen kingdom. I arrived late, dressed in a perfectly tailored suit, a ghost at the feast. I caught her eye across the room, and for a split second, I saw a flicker of confusion. I just smiled. At 9 p.m. sharp, as Julian took the stage to give his speech, the large projector screens behind him, meant to display images of the art, flickered. And then they came to life. Not with art, but with the photos from the pie. Jessica and Julian kissing in the hotel lobby. A close-up of a hotel receipt with his name, her signature. Then the audio began to play. her voice echoing through the silent, cavernous gallery. He has no idea, so wrapped up in his little blueprints. The silence was deafening. Every head in the room turned from the screens to her. Her face, a mask of horror, drained of all color. Julian stood frozen on the stage, his smug face crumbling into panic. Whispers turned into a roar. The flashing of phone cameras was relentless. I didn't stay to watch the end. I walked out into the cool night air, leaving the social carnage behind me. The next morning, my lawyer filed for divorce, citing the infidelity clause in our prenup and submitting the mountain of evidence. She lost everything. The job, her reputation, her friends. The court sided with me on every count. Julian's company was ruined by the scandal, his investors pulling out within a week. They were destroyed, publicly and completely. I live in a quiet apartment in Lincoln Park now, overlooking the water. Sometimes I see her. A fleeting glimpse of a woman who looks like my wife, hurrying down the street, head down, a ghost in a city that no longer wants her. I never felt the satisfaction I thought I would. There was no victory, just a vast, empty silence where a life used to be. The window I watched them through is dark now, but I still see their silhouettes burned into the back of my eyes. The end.